F1, the ever-evolving sport, whether it's new tracks, new formats, or new clothing regulations. Let's just take a moment to remember Vettel wearing his underpants outside of his race suit. A simpler time. But in all seriousness, F1 doesn't seem to like to sit still for too long, and the new engine regulations in 2026 are arguably one of the biggest changes in recent history, and it looks like there may be even more changes to the regulations after the FIA's recent announcement. And just a heads up, you may either hate them or love them. Now, that's not the only thing that's looking to change, as one of F1's most favored tracks may also be getting the boot. Well, maybe not quite, and speaking of change, Allison has finally revealed the direction that Mercedes will be going, and it's rather interesting, even though we probably saw it coming. Want to know what the FIA have said about the 2026 race calendar? It's not all as it seems, and stick around to find out as F1 embarks on a new venture that could change the face of the sport forever. Last week it was rumored that one of F1's favorite tracks, the Barcelona Grand Prix, would be leaving the F1 calendar in 2026, with the much-loved track being moved to a street circuit in Madrid. Now, we all know just how much the drivers love street circuits. Well, that is everyone besides Sergio Perez, who does seem to love a street track, but at this stage we're not even sure if Perez will be racing in 2026, and if he is, it probably won't be a Red Bull. If the Mexican driver still remains on the circuit in 2026, he may well enjoy the Madrid Grand Prix. According to veteran F1 journalist Joe Saward, the Spanish Grand Prix will take place in a new location in Madrid rather than Barcelona. The circuit will be situated around the IFEMA Convention Center nearby to the Barajas airport. The deal is reported to be for 10 years, bringing an end to Barcelona's regular appearance on the F1 calendar. The circuit will be a semi-permanent venue, with Saward likening it to Montreal and Melbourne, which aren't 100% street circuits like Monaco or Singapore. It's been mooted over the past 12 months that Madrid have wanted to host F1's Spanish event. In 2022, the community of Madrid indicated its desire to host a Grand Prix in an open letter to F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali. Regional Minister Enrique Lopez expressed the government's desire to make it possible for a race to be held in the city. As you know, the region of Madrid is experiencing outstanding economic and social development in the Spanish and European context, the letter stated. The city's efficient transport infrastructure network, pleasant climate, and first-class culture were also highlighted. In June last year, Madrid Mayor Jose Luis Martinez Almeida said that there has been a series of contacts on a very preliminary basis to organize a Grand Prix at IFEMA, but the exhibition center denied this at the time. This, however, was confirmed by F1 boss Domenicali. They are working to bring a race to Madrid, Domenicali said. F1 is delighted to have so many contenders because it is becoming more and more popular all over the world. You can never say never in life, of course, but 2 races in Spain is very complicated. It begs the question, why on earth would F1 want to change the F1 track and bring in a new circuit? And the real answer is because, of course, of money. According to reports from El Mundo, the project will be financed entirely by the private sector and will be held at IFEMA, Madrid's trade fair center. It is estimated that the event will generate 500 million euros in revenue per Grand Prix. No small fee, and there is definitely an upward trend in F1 to accommodate more street tracks. And we are not sure entirely why. They don't always provide the best racing, and most of the time they are a snooze fest. Monaco is not the best example, but they certainly don't seem to be what the F1s want, as traditional tracks definitely seem to provide the best racing. So is it really all to do with money? Another point would be surely F1 should be expanding to new areas, for example into Africa and most notably South Africa, with someone being very happy about that being Lewis Hamilton. But despite details of the race being leaked to the media, the FIA has moved to play down any suggestion that things are close to being signed off. This is especially true because the governing body has not yet been tasked with working on several key elements that need to be approved before any race project is sanctioned. Speaking to selected media, including Autosport, the FIA president of the Senate, Carmelo Sanz de Barros, who is also president of the Spanish Automobile Federation, said that he would love to see F1 return to Madrid, but was clear that there are a lot of things that need to be sorted. There is a clear process to have a Grand Prix in place, and I don't think that the process is being followed based on what you read. The Spanish Automobile Federation is where the process starts, because whenever there is a new competition that wants to happen in a country, you have to go to them. So, have the Spanish Federation received as of today this project to be analyzed, studied, and focused? No, they have not seen it. This special step has not happened yet. It is only when the above steps with the FIA and its National Sporting Authority are complete when the door can be opened for the race to find its way onto the calendar. There seems to be some political angling happening here, and maybe the Madrid politicians are learning off of the Andrettis. Hopefully it turns out better for them. Domenicali also said that he was happy with Barcelona on the track. There is great interest from Madrid, but it is also true that we are focused at the moment on Barcelona, which has a contract and the relationship is strong. Anyone that's been watching Formula 1 for a while understands that the sport is moving into a new era, with it looking to use 100% sustainable fuels from 2026 and plans to be net zero as a sport by 2030, and in 2014 they made the controversial decision to move away from loud, fuel-guzzling naturally aspirated engines to hybrid power units, with the electrical elements and sustainable fuels to ramp up even more for 2026 and beyond. Now, with everyone eagerly looking to 2026 and beyond, F1 can make one of its most significant changes yet with the end of the petrol-powered cars altogether, something that Max Verstappen seems pretty set on being the case. When asked where the sport will be in a decade, the triple world champion told Blick newspaper, "Petrol will probably be gone, but our sport is already becoming greener and more sustainable. What is for certain is that Max Verstappen will no longer be there," he laughed. Now, there are not many sources that could replace petrol in a car, and in most cases, it would be almost impossible, with even the new 2026 cars getting a lot of attention. Horner called them Frankenstein on wheels, and this is to do with the electric component of the engine now being more prominent, and in that case making the cars a lot heavier. Now, this is something that rival Toto Wolff was quick to point out, that it could just be because Red Bull are behind in their engine. Never one to miss a chance, eh Toto? Now, anyone that has been following the engines in general will understand that one of the key ways to keep the power in the car and provide no emissions is through hydrogen, and this may look like the way that F1 is going after its most recent announcement. Formula 1 governing body the FIA and a rebranded Extreme H Series announced on Thursday that they are setting up a joint hydrogen working group to evaluate the technology's future use in motorsport. Extreme H will be the new name for the existing Extreme E electric off-road series, which plans to switch to hydrogen from 2025. The new working group will feature representatives of all three organizations, including Extreme E technical director Mark Grain, Simmons, and an FIA single-seater director Nicolas Tombazis. It aims to monitor the progression and development of hydrogen technology for fuel cells and battery systems, as well as infrastructure, transportation, charging, storage and management, and the safety implications involved. Our sport has a tradition of bringing new technologies to the forefront of public perception in incredibly short timescales, F1's Chief Technical Officer Pat Simmons said in a statement. With climate change mitigation at the forefront of everyone's mind, we are committed to promoting sustainability and therefore need to explore all areas of decarbonization of the mobility sector. This must include sustainable liquid hydrocarbon fuels, electrification, and hydrogen. F1 will explore the technology with the help of the Extreme H Racing Series, which will be run by Alejandro Agag. He was also the founder of Extreme E Electric Off-Road Racing Series, which will transition to the new hydrogen-powered category in 2025. My idea or my pitch to Formula 1 was to say, listen, you don't know which technology is going to be the one, no one knows. For the moment, they are betting on synthetic fuels, which is fine, but hydrogen is going to be one technology that could be the future part of the equation. So why don't we do a group which basically you keep your eye on it? With F1's huge drive to bringing new engine manufacturers, this could be a huge move, but anyone that knows anything about hydrogen knows it's one of the most unpredictable fuels and is rather dangerous and will need to be thoroughly tested before it comes into use. We do not need any more Grosjean incidents in F1, especially with all the work that's gone on with safety in the sport.